So I went out to dinner yesterday. Went out to dinner. So I got obviously my. It's so important to change your friend circle. Like I come from a rough background, so a lot of my friends they're ex gang members or they've gone to prison and they've all changed their life. Do you know what I mean? But I've got a lot of friends now from living in over here. They're like normal people. Get me? And one of my friends, he's in the Airbnb space and he's done very, very well. He owns hotels, um, he owned a gym, you get me? And what I realized, this friend, he had no followers, no followers. Like just he's just following his friends, like, but he still managed to make millions upon millions and millions of pounds. And even one of his gyms that he owns, he's got 2,000 clients paying £75 a month. Now, even if you do the calculation on that, 75 times 2,000, it makes £150,000 a month just from 2,000 clients paying £75 a month. And giving a service. And I know the power of obviously creating something that's crazy valuable that people are benefit from giving a service. I never expect anyone to work for free or give wisdom for free. To be honest, like when I say work for free, because I use my time, effort. I was doing this when there was no money, and I will still do this because I wanted to demonstrate the power of building up your personal brand. But he don't have a personal brand, but he understood the power of developing a business and putting his head down it now. We always talk about the end results. We always look at the end results. I'm speaking to you about the end results. But it took him 2 years to get to 1,000, 2,000 members. You get me? And he did put on. He just had to go local area, giving out leaflets, meeting people, telling people that where the gym is and that, and doing deals. And then, do you know what I'm trying to say? But what I'm telling you is trust the process. Trust the process from that. And when I went out to dinner with him, he brought two more of his friends. And why it was crazy, because one of his friends who I met, he looks after all the royal families around the world that come to the UAE that want to invest their money, and he is there, like, he speaks on behalf of them, he can sign for them, he sorts out so much stuff, he is so powerful. Like, he showed me pictures of everyone, like, bro, like King Charles and that, like, he's in pictures of everyone sitting at the table with the king of Spain and this and that and that and the princes, and I couldn't believe it. And I was obviously explaining. He said he watches my content and he sees me pop up, and he watches my content on social media. And I just explaining that me growing up, or me coming from gang culture and having to grow up, that we don't get certain chances. You get me? And he's like, look, I come from a council place, home. I was, get me, in Wolverhampton council, boom, 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 and I worked myself up, and I'm in this position now. And obviously, he started obviously telling me about like what's going on with the economy and breaking things down and whatnot and whatnot. Get me? And obviously, not even going into all the deep stuff that he was saying. And then there was another one who I met. He's 24 years old, yeah, 24, and he's in tech and building apps. But before that, he had like a surveyor's business. You get me? Surveyor company, and obviously he's like a problem. Like, he looks at what a field has and what products that he can create that can make it more fast paced. So we got AI agents. So it cuts down the manpower of having 1,000 people now, when you just have to have a few AI agents and they take calls and book in things. So it's like the business saves money. So what he was saying, he created like AI infrastructure, and he started selling it on the market, and then he sold it and then made millions. But he had a call center. He started from jumping on the phones, call center, selling and learning that side of things. And then his call center in the UK, he then moved it to Pakistan. He was in Pakistan for a long period of time and built a call center. And he was telling me that one of his businesses makes £350,000 a month. Couldn't believe it. And he's like, yeah, it costs about 60K, but it makes 350K a month. You get me? And he was like, look, stuff that obviously I'm always thinking about. He's got 500 staff. So he's like, I'm always thinking about scaling it to 1 million a month. but it's just like it's gonna take too much thing to scale it. Then he showed me 2 other apps that he's been working on. So imagine someone making 350K a month. So he knows he can to build apps. You got to build apps. It costs a couple 100K. Do you know what I mean? To build proper apps, but jumping in the space and users and what he's adding to Dubai, what there's a gap in the market. It just blew my mind that he's 24 and he watches my content. And he asks me, don't you get backlash from rappers and this or this, that, and I was just explaining to him, and I just explained to him where I come from, but I took his number, and it's like the power of networking and just speaking to people in Dubai. You have these resources that is crazy. You get me? Like, but what my thing is like when I was answering him out, he was just like, bro, like I didn't sit down and just I made sure he was saying, look, I learned things. I went online, I learned things, and I got into one sector and I started focusing on that sector and started making money from that sector. And it took a couple of years to make money, but no one don't look at the start. Everyone always talks about the end result. So now that I can tell you about the end result and what's happening now, it's still building, getting to a point. And he is a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Do you know what I mean? And obviously everyone's moving to Dubai and making sure that their assets and they're paying minimal taxes and whatnot. And it just inspired me. Not only that, is like obviously he's just like with both of them, like anything you need, get me. And then when I've explained my story, like going to prison and making that transition, and they follow some of my story of like the hardship. You know what I mean? And it was just, for me, it was just like, yo, like this guy's 24, this multi-millionaire. You know what I mean? Like you can do and achieve anything that you want. So it's like me demonstrating to you guys, like, like this is my process. Get me? Like down the line, anyone that was watching me from 300 views and that was watching and that, but this is my process. Do you know what I mean? In years to come, like God willing, you see the, do you know what I mean? Where we're gonna be, but some people might subscribe at the 5 million subscriber, but they might look at everything that's happened or all the amazing things that man's done then, but they didn't know that it's the process. Get me? And I'm up 5 videos a day, guys. You're getting 5 videos a day. Today we've got a podcast. Get me? With Billy the Goat. Like first podcast, like proud, like happy first podcast, like, do you know what I mean? We've got a podcast with Billy the Goat. Like I'm gassed. Well, I'm tapping into knowing that for the rest of my life, this is what I wanna do, and however you're gonna see it in different shows, but speaking, you get me, and giving wisdom. Not only that, building man's community. And even the older generation, I don't think there's no one focusing on the older generation. They want to learn all these new things, AI and that. And sometimes, like, when you're like, I was coming up with no social media. There was no YouTube. There was none of that. So imagine coming up to, there's no social media. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And having to adapt. So imagine now I'm having to adapt to AI. So imagine the older generation, they can just about use social media. So it's like when they're watching YouTube's on, but they would like to use social media. They would like to learn things. They would like to get things step by step and practice and then understand that and then navigate. So for me, it's like, okay, cool. I need to look at the older generation, look at my generation, the younger generation. Gen Z, they're running things. They teach me new things. So, but at the same time, it's a process. It's a process. And I like Z, he manages my YouTube. My brother, yeah, he sent me a screenshot of my brother. He sent man £400. Just sent me £400 on YouTube. I couldn't believe it. I was like, huh? And I messaged him personally. I sent him a voice note, and I said thank you. And obviously, he told me the stuff that he does and how it took him 8 months to build his YouTube to 340,000 YouTube subscribers. Like from what day, from I think it was from day 1 to week 4, or day 1 to 4 weeks, he got to like first 100K, and then it just went crazy. And in my head, I'm saying, what? That is motivation for me. And he just explained the stuff that he does. with clients and whatnot. So it's like, you just never know who you're impacting. But these people inspire me. Do you know what I mean? And I had to message him and just say, thank you, bro. Like, boom, boom, boom. Now I'm connected with him. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But it's like, sometimes it's like, I don't know, guys. It's like, sometimes you just put things out to the universe for it to just, sometimes, look, last year I was at my lowest point. I promise you. Living in the villa, amazing, but my lowest point. Making wrong decisions. And it goes to show, just being consistent for a year, that you can actually change your life. And when I say change your life, it's like, the personal brand that I'm building is more powerful than anything. What you stand for. Like, one of the man them messaged me and said, oh yeah, I can do voiceovers or music reactions and that. I'm saying, bro, I don't want to make myself, for one, I want to focus on marketing. For two, I don't want to water down who I am to chase the bag. Like, do you know what I mean? Things that make sense. To do things, you know, okay, cool, this makes sense. This attach. And look, we understand, look, there's advertisement placements. Everyone does advertisement placements. Everyone does their due diligence on the companies and they do advertisement placements, just like this one. But for now that I'm talking about, I might as well just get it up and just show you, lot. So it's like, my mum got a car finance with this company and then end up, you know, doing content and rare and then asking questions and get me. And then obviously knowing that this company is FCA regulated, and anyone knows about FCA regulated, they're just the highest regulations. Like, if you're FCA regulated, you ain't worrying about nothing, because, do you know what I mean? They're the highest regulation in the UK. And then I was asking like questions with the company and boom, 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 and end up doing content. So, and I was like, with finance, do you can you have bad credit and get cars and that? So you can get, of course you can get cars if you've got CCJs and bad credit and whatnot. And I said, it's just cars. He said, no, you can get cars, vans, motorhomes, caravans, motorbikes. Do you know what I mean? And so I'm asking, oh, do you have to have be employed? He said, yeah, you don't even have to be employed. You can be on benefits, self-employed, full-time employment. So I thought, anyway, I made this content and I thought, let me just flip my screen and play it.
Wait. I know you was enjoying that YouTube. Listen, I'm not trying to sell you anything, just trying to put you on some game. You guys always ask me how people are getting decent motors without doing too much. Half the time, it's finance, but not the messy kind. There's this company, Fast Easy Finance. They don't throw deals in your face, no loud ads, just straight info, real numbers, and options that actually make sense. Hey, listen, you can learn how it works, figure out what you can afford, no pressure. Whether you're thinking ahead or just curious. I just thought I would mention it, you know, in case.
Yeah. So I was like, from when my mum got it, takes about, fill out your details in the description, it takes about 9 seconds. Once I think you've gone through whatever, it takes about 9 seconds, bro. 9 seconds. Just be like, oh yeah, you've been approved. It's crazy. Obviously, I think you definitely have to be 18 plus. But yeah, fill out your details. But anyway, but I think the message for me here is just to tell you guys is like, you got to trust the process, but don't be complacent. There's no point of sitting down, not working, bro. Like, we have to be working. There has to be a plan in place. There has to be a plan in place to trust the process. What was my plan in place? It was dropping once a day, to twice a day, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Okay, cool. Consumer work. What am I doing now? I'm testing out longer form content. Oh, you look like 45 minutes? Oh, you look like an hour and a half? It shows. There's content on my page that's got over 100,000 views from an hour and a half content. There's content on my page that's got 150,000 views in a couple of days for 45 minutes content. Do you know what I mean? Okay, cool. I could do fast updates for you lot, but then there's an audience for you lot to actually watch. Does YouTube push out longer content, authentic? You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. But like I said, all these things that I'm speaking out loud and being like, look, this is in order. You lot are watching me 11 months in. I look at people like KSI and all these massive YouTube creators, and they started 10 years ago or 15 years ago. You know what I mean? And you're like, bro, 15 years ago, they're where they are now. I'm 11 months in. I'm only starting. And you lot watching this now, it's just an encouragement to tell you guys to go and start every single day. Do it. If I can do something, if I'm doing it myself every single day, you lot need to be doing something yourself every single day. And it's not like a thing that you're just putting up in your story and no, you're actually putting passion into what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? I met this guy, like I told you, he's making £350,000 a month. He's 24 years old. These are the people that's out here printing money. And it's not based on being lucky. It's based on just understanding, learning new things, trying new things, jumping on the phone. Imagine when he started with nothing, he had to jump on the phone. He had to get turned down. He probably made 1,000 calls and got turned down 90%. And then 100 calls went on to that. Remember I told you, 2,000 people paying £75 a month is 150K a month. Imagine I told you that. Imagine now what's going to take for you to do that. Or I'm going to put this digital ads campaign, going to get these leads, we're going to jump on the phone, we're going to jump on the phone, we're going to jump on the phone. So have a plan in place. That's what I'm going to say. Have a plan in place. You know what I mean? But anyway, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and see you tomorrow. Peace.